The Trump administration is taking another step to restrict immigration into the U.S. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services is expanding what's called the Good Moral Character Test for citizenship applicants. The agency says the new approach will account for an applicant's positive attributes and not simply the absence of misconduct, including criminal convictions. Immigration officers are being instructed to also consider an applicant's employment history, educational background, and family ties in the U.S. Critics, though, believe this shift will allow the administration to reject applicants based on their political or ideological views. And for more on this, we are joined now by Bill Hing, professor of law and migration studies at the University of San Francisco. Professor, always good to see you. We appreciate the time. So why do you think the administration is introducing these more strict criteria for assessing an applicant's good moral character?
Well, I really think the administration wants to pick and choose who they want to grant U.S. citizenship to, it's a big ticket item. It's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, if you will, because U.S. citizenship is a precious commodity. And the Trump administration is saying we don't want to just grant it to somebody who's lived here long enough, had a green card long enough. We want to scrutinize every aspect of their life. And what that means is that it becomes a very subjective criteria. If they don't like the school you go to, if they don't like your attitudes about different things, that might be a basis for turning down your naturalization application.
How do you see immigration officers learning more about citizenship applicants as part of this screening process that you're talking about? What do you think this approach is going to look like in a practical sense?
That's a really good question. I've talked to some practitioners, and I even have talked, frankly, to a couple of naturalization officers that I know. And some of them are thinking, well, maybe they should have somebody write an essay as part of their application for naturalization. What U.S. citizenship means to me, if you will, kind of thing, rather than just hand in evidence that they've never been convicted of a crime, they're not behind in their spousal support payments. Those are traditionally, make sure they haven't been convicted of a crime kind of thing. That's traditionally what's been required, but now they're being invited to ask people about, lay out your life in front of me to show me that you deserve U.S. citizenship. That's a little bit troubling.
And do you expect we are going to see legal challenges to this more strict criteria that's being put forth by the administration? And what might those challenges look like?
Yeah, what I anticipate is that somebody is going to be denied U.S. citizenship by a naturalization officer who, for example, was late in their rent, and they got in trouble with the landlord, or they got a speeding ticket, but no one was hurt, and they got a series of traffic tickets, parking tickets. Somebody like that is going to get denied, and that's going to be challenged in court on the grounds that that really isn't evidence of bad moral character. It's going to be something like that we're going to see in the courts.
And do you think that this expanded test could also be used to denaturalize those who are already U.S. citizens?
That is a concern. And also in the news release that came out from Department of Homeland Security, they alluded to the president's desire to denaturalize. He threatened Elon Musk with that.
He said that about Elon Musk, right?
Yeah, Senator Alex Padilla, who actually wasn't ever naturalized. And so I think that they want to be able to use this to dig into someone's background deeply. But seriously, if somebody was eligible for naturalization at the time that they obtained naturalization, it's very, very difficult to take away citizenship from someone. That's a tough case for them.
All right, let me shift and ask you about the other story that we just brought up a moment ago. The Trump administration really is stepping up the pressure today, especially on cities and states, including California, to abandon their sanctuary laws by threatening to pull federal funding or to even prosecute local officials here. The U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said today that, this was the deadline for these jurisdictions to change their policies, that the administration says that they undermine immigration enforcement efforts at the federal level, and today was the deadline for them to change. Do you see any of these jurisdictions shifting their approach here as a result of this pressure campaign? What do you think gets accomplished here?
No, I don't think any of the Bay Area cities are going to, or California is going to change. So San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Santa Clara County, that they're not going to change. What the administration is saying is, by today, we want you to fully cooperate. And here's where the misunderstanding is, even in the public's mind. Right now, under law, San Francisco police officers, Oakland health administration, if they're asked a question about someone's immigration status and they know the answer to that question, they will answer it. They will answer it. There is cooperation. But the way the sanctuary ordinances work is that you don't ask information. So if you don't have that information, then when the federal government asks you the question, then you can honestly say, I don't know. And so I don't think that there's going to be any problem with the cities and counties like San Francisco and Oakland, because in fact, they do cooperate. When they have the information and they're asked, they will provide it. And that happens from time to time. People don't realize that. But if they don't ask the information, and they don't need to ask that information of somebody who's arrested for jaywalking or whatever, then they just honestly answer that we don't have that information. So I don't think that Bondi and the Trump administration are going to have any leg to stand on here, because the jurisdictions we're talking about do cooperate when they have the information.
All right. Well, we'll see what sort of legal challenges come here and what comes next from the administration. On that front, we appreciate the time. Bill Hing, professor at the University of San Francisco. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good night.